All right, so in this section, 416, we're going to be doing synthetic division. Example 1 just wants us to divide those expressions, okay? 7a squared plus 35a minus 6 divided by a plus 5. And we're going to do this using synthetic division. So here's how it goes. You're going to get the coefficients of the larger expression, okay? The larger expression is 7a squared plus 35a minus 6. Just the coefficients. Now, coefficients means the numbers, not the power, not the letter, the numbers in the front. So, I'm going to write 7, 35, negative 6. Okay? So, I'm going to write that first. Then, on the left side of that 7, I'm going to make like a half square, okay? Kind of make it a little bit bolded there. And inside of that half squared, I'm going to look at the a plus 5, the thing I'm dividing by, a plus 5. And that positive 5, I'm going to write it here, but the opposite sign. So negative 5, okay? So the plus 5, the a plus 5, I'm going to write the 5 inside that half circle, half square, but I'm going to make it the opposite sign, okay? This is just your setup. Once you do that, you're going to draw a horizontal line like this, okay? And then above the horizontal line, you're going to put plus, and below it like this, you're going to put times. And we're going to be jumping from top to bottom like that as we do this work. It's going to be pretty quick, but I'm not going to go fast. But just so you know, it doesn't take a long time. But this is the setup. This is the way the problem should look when you start. Okay? So only your coefficients, 7, 35, negative 6. In the half square, you're going to put the opposite of the number that you're dividing by. So a plus 5, you're going to write you're going to do the minus 5. Okay? So minus 5 goes in there. And here comes the steps as to how you do it. All right? So, first step, drop the first coefficient. You're going to drop it straight down. Any number that is in the bottom gets multiplied by the number in the half box, okay? So any number that's on the bottom is going to get multiplied by the number inside of that half box, so minus 5. So what's negative 5 times 7? Negative 35. So I'm going to write the answer on top. Remember, we're going to be going bottom to top, bottom to top, bottom to top. We're going to be jumping back and forth until we run out of room, okay? All right. Now, you see how that negative 35 is above the line? I'm supposed to add, right? There's a plus sign there. So what's 35 plus negative 35? 0. So that goes down here. Okay? What do I do with the 0? I multiply it times negative 5, right? Every number on the bottom gets multiplied by the number in that half square. So what's negative 5 times 0? 0. All right? And then what do I do with that 0? I add it with negative 6. So negative 6 plus 0? Negative 6. Okay, we just did long division. Okay, I'm going to put this little, like, thick wall there. Okay, because the very last number that I write, that's my remainder. Okay, so what do I do now? Now I got to write my answer. Okay, so this is my solution right now. I'm done. Okay, long division is finished. But I just did it synthetically. I did it really quick. So, how do I write my solution? Well, first thing I want to ask myself is, what was the highest power that I started with? 2, right? So let me write this down. You guys don't have to write this down. This is just me giving you the reasoning. Since the degree is a 2 to begin with, we will use a to the first, or just a. You always use 1 degree less. We're going to start with using the letters that are 1 degree less. So a squared was what I started with. So here we go. Here's my answer. 7a. Notice I didn't use 7a squared. I used 7a plus 0. Okay? Now that 0 doesn't have a letter because remember, if it's the first power, remember how the powers count down power of 3, power of 2, power of 1, then power of none, right? Nothing's there. So there you go. This is my answer with my remainder of 6 over, what do I put under that 6? A plus 5. And there we go. We're done. Now, usually people don't write the answer like this, okay? Usually we don't write like that because 7a plus 0 just looks a little weird. It's okay, it is correct, but I would just show you that most times they're going to write it like this, okay? Because you don't need that plus 0. So you can just write it like that. Any questions on this one, guys? We're going to do 3 more, okay? Hopefully by that time it makes perfect sense and you're not struggling with it. But if I were just to shut up and do this, I'd be done in like 30 seconds or less. Okay, because I don't need to talk to myself and say, what's this plus this? Now this times that, right? I would just kind of go through and do it. Now look, just to show you that it's not like super hard to do this, we're going to go right to a long problem. Now, just so you know, when we were doing long division the other day, which I think that was Monday, we never went into the 4th power stuff. That was way too much work. We never even touched that because that would take you like maybe 5 minutes, 8 minutes to do each problem. Okay? We would stop at powers of 3 because that's long enough, right? So we're going to go powers of 4 just to show you that synthetic division is quick. It doesn't take long to do. Okay? So we have divide again, x to the 4th plus 12x cubed plus 38x squared plus 27x plus 34 divided by x plus 7. Okay? Now we're not going to do it long division. We're going to do synthetic. So when you do synthetic, remember, write down your coefficients. So what's my coefficient here to start? 1. And then 12, 38. All right. All right. That's not hard. Now I need to create this little half box here. What number do I put in that half box? -7. Okay. Remember, it's the opposite of +7 at the very end. -7. Then I'm going to do my line here. By the way, this plus and times you guys don't have to do. I just like to show it because sometimes people forget, like, oh, above I add, below I multiply. Sometimes people flip them. So I like to just put them so that hopefully there's less errors. So here it is. We set it up perfectly. First step is to do what? Yeah, drop your first coefficient, okay? So there we go. Remember, every number on the bottom gets multiplied. So -7 times 1, -7. I write my answer up on top. Then I add. What's 12 plus -7? Or 12 minus 7? It's 5, right? All right, now let's multiply. 5 times -7? -35. Now let's add. 38 plus -35? 3. Now we multiply. 3 times -7? -21. Now we're going to add 27 plus -21? 6. And 6 times -7? -42. And 34 plus -42? -8. And remember, the last number, I'm going to put like a little force field here so that we don't include it in our answer. That's our remainder. So there you go. You just did a long division that could potentially take you about 7 to 10 minutes in about 1 minute. Okay, maybe less. Now let's write the answer. What's my highest degree? 4. So that means that 1 in the front, it's going to be a 3rd power variable. So it's going to be 1x to the 3rd plus 5x squared. Just keep going down in power, okay? Plus 3x plus 6. There's my answer. My remainder is -8 over x plus 7. What do you guys think? Easier? Yes. Hopefully. So the question was asked, why didn't we learn this the first time? And I said, well, I could have, but it's specific to certain things. Here's the thing. Notice how in this problem, the number in front of the x right there is a 1. Right? Notice how the original problem that we did, it's a 1. Did you guys ever divide in long division with things that maybe said like 2a minus 3? Yeah. Not everything was a 1. So when it's not a 1, you can still do synthetic division, but you have to divide, and then you end up with fractions everywhere. So that's not really fun. So if it doesn't have a 1 in the front, you can't do synthetic division. It's easier to just do long division. Okay? So that's why. That's why we can do synthetic, because the term in front of that x or the a or p or whatever is there, it's a 1. That's why we can do it. All right, so next example. I erased it because I wanted to change the one that I did earlier. That's why I'm re-recording it. So here we go. Negative 27 minus 7x plus 3x squared divided by negative 4 plus x. No, that's my song right there. If anybody knows, if that's yours, feel free to turn it off. If not, we're going to have some nice background music. So, all right. Remember how you mentioned, like, what if the degree is bigger in the middle or something like that, right? Like, what do we do there? And I told you, well, that would be out of order, so we would have to organize it first. That's what I have to do right now. I can't do synthetic division the way it looks right now. Okay, I have to fix it. High power to low power. So, I'm going to rewrite this as, 3x squared minus 7x minus 27, and then over here it's going to be x minus 4. I got to make it look like that first. Make sure everything's in order. And then when everything's in order, then I can do the work. So now let me write my coefficients. So 3, negative 7, negative 27. Then the little half box right here. What number do I put there? A 4. All right, we're going to do our horizontal line here. I'll put plus there, times there. Again, this is just the setup, right? The way it's supposed to look. So now we start our first step where we drop our first number. So 3 goes down, and we multiply. 4 times 3, that's 12. Now we add negative 7 plus 12, 5. 4 times 5, 20, and negative 27 plus 20, negative 7. The last number is my remainder. I'm done. Okay. Highest power was a power of 2. That means that when I write my answer, that, there's a 3, 5, negative 7 on the bottom, that 3 is going to have an x to the first. Okay. Because the highest power was 2. I got to reduce it by 1, right? So this is going to be 3x plus 5 minus 7 over x minus 4. And there's my answer. So we got one more to do, and this one's kind of like a special situation. So hopefully right now you're like, okay, this I can do. Right? Like this looks a lot simpler than the craziness that was long division, right? Like I said, even my upper level kids, my calculus kids, they hate long division. They hate long division. They hate completing the square, which we haven't done yet, but we will. They don't like doing that. They hate logarithms and natural logs, which we probably will do later too. There's a lot of things they don't like because they always feel confused by it. All right, one more long one and then we're done. And like I said, think about it. I'm talking us through this. If I wouldn't, it wouldn't take very long to do these. Okay? So there's something specific about this one that's special, that catches my eye, and it's that everything is in order, but something's missing. What's missing? The positive, I can't say right. The power of 4 is gone, right? P to the 4th power is not there. Okay? You're supposed to have all powers represented. All of them. So there should be a p to the fifth, p to the fourth, p to the third, p to the second, p to the first, and then one that doesn't have a variable. So p to the 0. Okay, they should all be there. But this one's missing one. So wherever it's missing something, you're going to put a placeholder. That placeholder is a 0. Okay, so here we go. Here are my coefficients. So for p to the fifth, it's going to be a 1. P to the fourth is not there, so I'm going to put 0. P to the third, well, that's negative 87. And then 54. And 9. And negative 79. And there they are. Those are all my coefficients. Remember, the 0 is there because p to the fourth is missing. There's no p to the fourth, so I got to put a 0 in its place. I'm going to make my half box. And in that half box, I'm going to put a positive 9. So there's my setup. So again, drop your 1, multiply, then add, multiply, then add, multiply, then add. Just keep repeating, right, that process. So here we go. Drop the 1. 9 times 1, that's 9. 0 plus 9, that's 9. Earlier today I said 18. I don't know why. But 9 times 9, 81. Negative 87 plus 81, negative 6. 9 times negative 6, that's negative 54. 54 plus negative 54, 0. 9 times 0, 0. 9 plus 0, 9. And then 9 times 9. And now add those two, we get 2. So if you're good at your basic arithmetic, this goes really fast. If not, use a calculator. Okay? So here we go. Highest power that I started with was a what? 5. That means my answer will start with p to the fourth. Okay? So here we go. 1 p to the fourth plus 9 p to the third minus 6 p squared plus 0p plus 9. Now, you don't need that 0p, so I am going to rewrite it right now, okay? But I'm just showing you what it's going to look like at first. This is my initial answer. Now, if I want to clean it up a little bit, I can just write it this way. P to the fourth plus 9p cubed minus 6p squared plus 9 plus 2 over p minus 9. All right, so this is what you guys are doing for homework today, synthetic division. I love synthetic division. It's a nice way to do stuff without too much work. But unfortunately, it only works, well, it works best in certain situations where when the value in front of that p, like right there for us, p minus 9, the number in front of the p is a 1, so I can do synthetic division. If there was like a 3 here, you probably shouldn't do synthetic division for that. Okay, because you would have to divide everything out. You end up with fractions. So don't do that. Okay, if there's numbers in front of that letter, you're gonna do long division. Okay, but if there's a 1, you're good.
Will that like ever be taught to us?
How to do the division?
Yeah.
I'll show it to you guys once I turn this off because I don't want to confuse anybody on the video. So let me turn this off.